I walked through the door smelling like grease and sweat after a 12-hour shift at the shop. My boots tracked in dust from the garage. All I wanted was a shower, a sandwich, and to pass out. Instead, I smelled steak. I heard music. Candlelight flickered off the walls. Dana was in the kitchen, wearing a red dress she usually saved for birthdays or Valentine's Day. 2 plates on the table. A bottle of wine already opened. She smiled big, like she was proud of herself. I blinked. "What's the occasion?" She held up her hand. "Diamond ring. Big one." "I'm engaged," she said. I didn't get it. "Engaged in what?" She laughed. "No, like, I'm getting married. To Kyle." She said his name like I should know him. I didn't. I looked at the ring, then back at her. "You're joking," I said. "I'm not. We've been together for a while. I just didn't know how to tell you." I stood there, frozen. She'd been living with me for almost 2 years. Never paid rent. Drove the SUV I put on my insurance. Used my card for groceries, gas, nail appointments, you name it. And now she was standing in my kitchen. My kitchen. Telling me she was marrying someone else. "Are you serious right now?" I asked. "You're engaged to another guy and still living in my house?" She shrugged. "I wanted to be honest. I thought you'd respect that. I just need a couple months to figure things out. Find a place. Transition." "Transition," I repeated, like the word tasted bad. "You're telling me this over steak and wine? Like we're celebrating?" She crossed her arms. I didn't want to make it a big fight. I walked past her, grabbed a glass from the cabinet, poured a double whiskey. No ice. Drank it straight. "Congratulations to you both," I said. "You've got 2 hours to pack." She laughed like I was being dramatic. "I have rights. I get mail here. Legally, you can't just kick me out." I pulled out my phone. "Cool. Then we'll do it legally." I stepped outside, called the non-emergency police line, and asked for officers at my address. Told them a woman who doesn't pay rent just admitted she was living here while engaged to another guy. She followed me out, yelling, "Are you seriously calling the cops right now? You wanted honest?" "This is honest," I said. "You've got 2 hours." Cops showed up in less than 15 minutes. One older guy, one younger, both wearing that look like they already knew this was going to be messy. I stepped out front to meet them. "You the one who called?" the older one asked. "Yeah," I said. "She doesn't pay rent, doesn't own a thing in that house, and just told me she's engaged to someone else while living under my roof." I pulled up my bank app and handed him my ID, mortgage statement, and a stack of bills with only my name on them. "She got a key. Gets mail here," I added. "That's all." The younger cop flipped through the paperwork, then looked at Dana, who was standing in the doorway with her arms crossed like she was the one being wronged. "I live here," she said, like that was enough. "You can't just kick me out. I have rights." The older cop sighed. "Do you have a lease?" "No, but I've lived here almost 2 years." "Do you pay rent?" "I handle stuff around the house," she said. "Groceries sometimes." I didn't say anything. I just raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am," the younger one said, "we can't physically remove you tonight unless you're trespassing, but based on everything he's shown us, it's clear this is his property, and you don't have any legal agreement tying you to it." Dana's voice got tight. "So what? He can just put me out because he's bitter?" "Legally, yes," the older cop said. "This isn't your residence in any enforceable way. We're advising you to leave peacefully and avoid legal trouble." That's when she cracked. She stormed off down the hallway and slammed the bedroom door. I could hear drawers opening and bags being yanked out. Then I heard her on the phone. "Kyle? He's kicking me out tonight." "No, I didn't get to finish dinner." "Yeah. I told him about the ring. He called the cops." I walked into the kitchen and poured another whiskey while she sobbed into the phone like I was the monster. "No, babe, I can't come to your place. You have roommates." I know. I'll figure it out." Then she started live streaming. I heard her voice from the hallway. "This is what happens when you find real love. He's throwing me out because I'm finally choosing happiness. After everything I gave." I leaned against the counter and stared at the bottle. The cops just looked at each other like they'd seen this 100 times. The younger one said, "We're not going to intervene unless she gets aggressive, but I'd recommend you get your locks changed ASAP." "Already got a locksmith on the way," I said. An hour later, she came out with 2 garbage bags and a suitcase. Her face was red, mascara streaked, but she looked right at me like she wanted a reaction. "You really think you're the good guy here?" I didn't say a word, just nodded at the door. She yanked the front door open, turned back to the camera in her hand, and said loud enough for her phone to catch, "This is what emotional abuse looks like. He's erasing me." I followed her out, kept my tone calm. "Text me when you want to pick up the rest. I'll have it ready in the garage." She didn't answer, just stomped to the black SUV she'd been driving for months. Mine, title and all, and peeled out of the driveway like she thought that would hurt me. The cops stayed a few minutes longer. The older one said, "You handled that pretty clean, all things considered. Just don't let her back in, no matter what she says." I nodded. "That's the plan." The locksmith rolled up 10 minutes later. While he got to work, I bagged up the rest of her makeup, chargers, and shoes and set them in the garage. I didn't care what it was. If it looked like hers, it was gone. Inside, the house felt weird, like it had been stripped bare, even though all the furniture was still mine. The silence felt heavy but clean, like the first deep breath after getting sucker punched. Next morning, I woke up to my phone lighting up like it was on fire. 47 missed calls, 30-something texts, Instagram blowing up. All from Dana, Kyle, and someone saved as Marlene, her mom. A number I didn't even remember saving. Kyle was first. "Dude, that was cold. She needed transition time. You could have handled it better." I stared at the screen. "Transition time?" I texted back. "You proposed to a woman who lived with another man. She hid you like a side project." Didn't hear back after that. Then Marlene called. I picked up out of sheer curiosity. "You're really proud of yourself, huh?" she snapped. "Throwing a woman out on the street like she's trash?" I kept my voice calm. "Did she tell you she got engaged last night? To someone else?" Silence. "Yeah," I said. "She did that at my dinner table. Then said she needed 2 months to transition. She'd been with Kyle for a while behind my back." Marlene's voice cracked. "She what?" "She told me she loved me 3 days ago. Then popped a ring out like it was a Hallmark special." She hung up. Didn't even say goodbye. Couple hours later, I heard a knock on the front door. Opened it and there was Kyle in cargo shorts and a wrinkled t-shirt, looking like he was about to give me a TED Talk. "Hey man," he started. "Mind if we talk? Just man to man." I stepped out and shut the door behind me. "Make it quick." He rubbed the back of his neck. "Look, I didn't know about you. Dana told me you were just her roommate. That things were complicated but over." I laughed once, hard. "Roommate? You think roommates buy the groceries, pay the bills, and cover spa days?" His face fell. "She said she didn't have anywhere to go. I thought maybe you guys just had a weird situation. Every piece of furniture in that house is mine. Every appliance, every plate, every damn candle. She didn't bring a single thing into that home but her drama." He looked at the ground like a kid who got caught cheating off the wrong test. "She said you were controlling," he mumbled. "Yeah? She say that before or after she used my card for her girls' trip in June?" He didn't respond. "She was with you, wasn't she?" I asked. That got his attention. He looked me dead in the eye, and for the first time I saw it. Panic. "She said you guys were broken up by then, right?" I said. "That why she was still sleeping in my bed the week after?" He stepped back like I'd shoved him. Man, I didn't know." "You do now," I said and walked back inside. I didn't slam the door. Didn't need to. The silence behind it did the work. That night, I installed 2 more cameras, one facing the driveway, one on the back gate. I wasn't taking any chances. Not with people like Dana who think cameras are just props for Instagram, and not with guys like Kyle who don't seem to think past the next excuse. By midnight, I had motion alerts set, doors locked, and everything synced to my phone. If either of them so much as stepped onto the property, I'd see it before they did. Next morning, My buddy called me laughing before I was even out of bed. Bro, Dana's on Facebook blowing a gasket. You might want to check that. I opened the app. There she was, front and center, makeup done, crying into the camera like she was on reality TV. She titled the video, "The Truth About My Abusive Ex Who Kicked Me Out for Finding Love." 53 comments. Already shared a dozen times. She called me controlling, said I wouldn't let her leave, claimed I monitored her phone and refused to support her dreams, said I trapped her financially, and threatened to ruin her life when she tried to get free. I felt my jaw lock. She really had the nerve to flip it like that. I didn't argue. I didn't make a video. I just posted a single screenshot to my story. It was from the week before the engagement dinner. Her text, "Hey babe, can I borrow $300 for that Invisalign thing? I'll pay you back soon. Love you." Then a second screenshot. "Kyle says he'll cover the hotel for the weekend spa thing, but I need gas. Can you spot me?" Under it, the charge for $178 from my credit card. Same spa she tagged herself at with Kyle 2 days later. I added one line. This was 5 days before she got engaged. Didn't tag her. Didn't name call. Just facts. By lunch, my notifications were on fire. Her old friends, mutuals I barely knew, were commenting things like, "Wait, you were still living with him? And why did you say he was violent if you just asked him for money?" Turns out Dana had been lying to them too, telling people we were already separated, that I was unstable, paranoid, that she was rebuilding her life after I supposedly messed it up. One of her friends even messaged me, "Damn, I had no idea. She said you were sleeping on the couch and she was helping you recover from a breakdown." Meanwhile, I was working 70 hours a week while she hit up happy hours and weekend retreats with Kyle on my dime. Later that evening, I got a voicemail from a number I didn't recognize. It was Taylor, her sister. "Hey, this is Taylor. I just saw all the stuff online. I didn't know Dana was still living with you. I'm really sorry. She told us you guys were done months ago, that you were roommates with boundaries." I rolled my eyes. She continued, "Look, I don't want to get in the middle, but I can come pick up her stuff if that makes it easier. I know she's not welcome anymore." I texted her back, told her the garage was ready. Every last thing Dana had left, clothes, books, hair products, whatever, was already boxed up and labeled. I'd handled it 2 nights ago, before she even started her pity parade online. Taylor showed up the next morning in an old Subaru. No small talk, just nodded and started loading boxes into her trunk. She didn't ask questions, didn't defend her sister. Before she left, she paused and looked at me like she wanted to say something, then just said, "Thanks for being calm about all this." I nodded. It's done. No reason to drag it out. She gave me a small nod back and drove off. Inside, I checked Dana's socials one more time. Her video was still up, but the comments had turned. People were asking questions she couldn't dodge. One girl even posted a clip from Dana's livestream, saying, "Didn't you say he threw you out for cheating? What's the story today?" Her lies were catching up, fast. I was still sipping coffee when my phone lit up, unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. 2 minutes later, same number called again. I picked up. "Yeah, you reported my car stolen? Are you insane?" It was Dana, screaming loud enough to crack the speaker. "Your car," I said. "You mean the SUV that's titled, registered, and insured in my name? I've been driving it for over a year. And now you're not. You're not on the insurance. You're not my girlfriend. You're not even welcome in my driveway. You're such a petty, bitter." I hung up. 30 seconds later, she texted, "Pulled over. Taken to the station. Kyle had to leave work. This is harassment." Another text, "I had to Uber home. $73. You happy?" Didn't reply. That SUV showed up in my driveway 2 hours later, towed by the city. I walked out to inspect it like it was a crime scene. Driver's side had a long key mark down the door. Inside, it reeked of weed and cheap body spray. Empty Red Bull cans, a Taco Bell wrapper, a dried-up lash extension stuck to the dash. I didn't even get mad. I was past that. Just snapped photos of the damage and emailed them to myself. Then I took the keys and drove it straight to the detail shop across town. Asked for the full deep clean, interior, carpets, vents, everything. Guy looked at me like I was asking him to erase a crime scene. Smells like skunk and regret, I told him. After that, I hit the dealership and had the key fob system reset. She had a spare, probably still in her purse somewhere, but now it wouldn't work. Only I had access. While I waited, I pulled out my phone and started going through everything else. Netflix, signed her out. Spotify, gone. Amazon Prime, changed the password. Wi-Fi login, new name, new password. Security system, she was still on the guest list, deleted. Garage code, changed. Even the Grubhub account. I left it logged in just long enough to see the last order. 2 smoothies and a breakfast burrito, delivered to Kyle's apartment. Using my card. I shook my head, changed that too. No way in hell was I gonna keep paying for the ride she was giving someone else. 2 days later, she tried calling again. Left a voicemail this time, like she was calm. I know things have gotten out of hand. Maybe we both said things we didn't mean. But it's not fair for you to take away everything just because we didn't work out. I depended on that car. And those accounts helped me get through some hard times. She finished with, "Be better than this." I deleted the message. Being better didn't mean being stupid. 3 nights later, just after 10, I heard pounding on my front door. Not knocking, pounding. Fists slamming against the wood like they were trying to break it down. My security camera pinged my phone before I even made it to the entryway. I opened the app, there was Kyle, and 3 other guys I didn't recognize. 1 in a beanie, 2 in hoodies. All of them standing on my porch like they were about to start a bar fight. I didn't open the door. Kyle shouted, "We're here for Dana's things. You're not gonna hold her stuff hostage, man." I didn't say a word, just walked into my office, locked the door behind me, and dialed 911. 4 men are on my property, banging on my door, trying to force entry. I've got it all on camera. Dispatcher told me officers were on the way. While I waited, I watched on my screen as one of them tried the doorknob. Then they walked around the side of the house. One guy pulled out his phone and used the flashlight to peek into the windows. Kyle shouted again, "We know you've still got her stuff. You're not keeping her things." Then I heard the sound that made my blood spike. They tried the back slider. I grabbed the bat from under my couch and stood ready, watching the security feed like a hawk. They never got it open. Cops pulled up fast. Sirens off but lights flashing. Cruisers rolling up like clockwork. 2 officers jumped out, weapons holstered but hands ready. The guys scattered quick, except one idiot who thought he could climb the back fence. Didn't even make it halfway before a cop tackled him straight into my rose bushes. I opened the front door, handed the officers my phone, and showed them the footage. Full video of the 4 of them pacing, banging, trying handles, even peeking inside. "This guy's the one that tried to open the back," I said, pointing to hoodie number 3. "That's attempted break-in." They cuffed him and read him his rights on the spot. The other 2 were lined up on the curb, getting their warnings. Kyle was pacing like he wanted to argue his way out. One cop turned to me. "You know any of these guys?" "Just Kyle. That's Dana's fiancé." Kyle stepped forward. "We're not criminals, okay? We just came to get what's hers. She decorated that house. A lot of what's in there belongs to her." I stared at him. "What exactly do you think she owns?" "She picked the couches, the wall art, the dishes." "Picked, yeah. Paid? No. I've got receipts for every single thing in that house. She didn't spend a damn dime. She said you stole her stuff. Then tell her to call the cops and file a report. Funny how she hasn't done that yet." The officer cut in. "Mr. Kyle, unless you have a court order, you can't remove anything from this property. You are not a resident. You do not have legal standing." Kyle's face twisted. "So what? She gets nothing?" "She got out without charges," I said. "I'd call that a win." The cop looked at him. "You come back here again, all of you will be arrested. Next time, we won't be giving out warnings." Kyle didn't respond. He just clenched his jaw and turned back to the street like he was still deciding if he wanted to throw a punch or cry. They all left without saying another word. Cops waited until they were fully gone before taking the cuffs off the guy who got tackled and loading him into the cruiser. "You should press charges," one of the officers told me. "I'll think about it," I said, but I knew I wouldn't. Not unless they came back. When the street was clear again, I walked back inside and rearmed the alarm. I checked every window and door, made sure every lock clicked tight. Then I opened the camera app and took a screen grab of Kyle standing on my porch with his fists in the air. Saved it in a folder called Idiots Who Test Me. That was the last time I ever saw any of them. 2 weeks after that mess on my porch, I got a call from an unfamiliar number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to answer. "Hi, this is Marlene, Dana's mother." I stayed quiet. "I'd like to meet," she said softly. "Not to argue. I need to understand what really happened." We met that afternoon at a diner off Highway 12, one of those places with cracked vinyl booths and burnt coffee. She was already sitting in the corner when I walked in, stirring her cup even though it was empty. No makeup, no smile. Just a woman who looked tired down to the bone. "Thanks for coming," she said. I sat across from her. Figured it was time somebody wanted the truth. She nodded. "Dana's been saying some awful things online. I didn't know what to believe. She told me you stole her car and locked her out of her own home." I pulled out my phone and set it on the table. Opened the folder labeled Receipts. Photos of the car, title, text messages, screenshots, everything. "Here," I said. "All of it's mine. Every single thing she used." She was living rent-free while lying about being engaged to another man. Marlene scrolled slowly, her face draining of color. When she hit the text where Dana wrote, "I love you," 5 days before flashing that ring, she froze. "She really said this to you right before?" she asked. "Right before." She leaned back, covering her mouth. "God help me. She's done this before." I didn't say anything, just waited. "She's always been like this," Marlene whispered. "Ever since high school. She spins things, makes herself the victim, jumps from one man to another when the story gets too messy. We thought she'd grow out of it." I could tell she wasn't excusing it, just admitting the truth out loud for the first time. "I'm sorry," she said. "You didn't deserve that." I shrugged. "I just wanted my life back. That's all." She reached into her purse, pulled out a plain white envelope, and slid it across the table. "This isn't payment. This is an apology. From me and her father." I stared at it. "What's in it?" "5,000. I know it won't fix what she did, but it's the least we can do for letting her use you the way she did." "I can't take that," I said. "You can," she replied firmly, "because you earned it the hard way." I didn't argue. I slipped the envelope into my jacket. Not because I wanted the money, but because I could tell refusing would make her feel worse. She sighed. "Kyle's already having doubts, by the way. She's living with her sister now, but apparently she's been begging him for cash every other day. He's realizing she's not who she said she was." "Guess I could have told him that," I said. "He wouldn't have listened," Marlene said. "None of them ever do." She finished her coffee, looked at me one more time and said quietly, "You handled it better than most." I'd have lost my mind. I gave her a small nod. Maybe I did. I just didn't show it. When she left, I sat there for a while, staring at the empty cup across from me. The truth was, I didn't feel vindicated. Just done. Like the whole thing had finally hit its wall. I was changing the oil in my truck when Taylor called again. She didn't even say hi, just launched right in. "She's driving me insane." I wiped my hands with a rag. "What now?" "She sleeps till noon. Doesn't help with anything. Won't get a job. And she's got this fake wedding Pinterest board like she's planning a damn royal ceremony." I snorted. "Who's the groom this week?" "Still Kyle for now. But she keeps posting these weird quotes like, 'The right man stands by you through your healing.' Like she's the victim in all this." I leaned on the truck hood. "Let me guess. Still calling me controlling?" "Oh, she tells everyone you were obsessed." Says you guys had an open relationship and you got jealous when she found real love. I laughed hard enough to choke. Open relationship? She cried when I didn't text back fast enough. She flipped if I liked a picture of a dog posted by a woman. Tell me about it, Taylor sighed. Bradley doesn't even come around anymore. Last time he visited, she told him he couldn't bring up anything negative about Kyle or you. Like at all. Said it was bad energy. He dipped halfway through dinner. Smart kid, I said. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed again. Taylor. She won't leave. I paused mid-rep at the gym. What? She's been staying in our guest room since Kyle kicked her out. I sat up. Wait. Kyle dumped her? Taylor groaned. Oh, you haven't heard the latest. She told him she was pregnant. My jaw clenched. You're kidding. Nope. She even bought fake test strips online. He caught her laughing about it on the phone with a friend. She said it was the only way to lock him down. Jesus. He freaked, obviously. Told her to get out. She came crying to us like we're some kind of shelter. We gave her 30 days to figure it out. I shook my head. Let me guess. She's not moving? Nope. Says family can't evict her. Claims she has rights because her mail comes here now. I rubbed my temples. She learned that line real fast. She has no money, no job. Just keeps posting quotes like a queen never begs. She waits. But she's literally begging Kyle to take her back in the same breath. She ever apologize for any of this? Taylor laughed. She says she did nothing wrong. That everyone misunderstood her truth. She says the world just wasn't ready for a woman like her. That's not deep, I said. That's delusional. I've got my dad coming to stay next week, she said. If she's still here, it's gonna be a showdown. You gonna call the cops? If I have to, she said. But it'd be a hell of a lot easier if she just took the hint and left with some dignity. Yeah, I said. But Dana doesn't do dignity. She does drama. Thanks for listening, Taylor said. I'm exhausted. Believe me, I said. I've been there. She hung up, and I stared at my phone for a second. Every time I thought it couldn't get more pathetic, Dana found a new level to dig to. Lying about pregnancy, burning every bridge in her own family. She wasn't imploding. She was setting fire to her whole life and calling it self-expression. About a week later, I got an email from a no-name law office with a Gmail address and a blurry logo that looked like it was made in Microsoft Paint. Subject line: Cease and desist. Immediate action required. I opened it. Some lawyer, if you could call him that, claiming I owed Dana 50 grand for emotional damage, loss of reputation, and slander via social media. He even threw in a line about intentional distress caused by abrupt eviction. I laughed, out loud, forwarded it straight to my attorney. She called me within an hour. You ready to play hardball? Born ready. We hit back with a full counterclaim. $48,000 in back rent, utilities, food, vehicle costs, and shared expenses. Itemized. With receipts. Let's see how her little circus lawyer likes that, my attorney said. Turns out, he didn't. Dropped her like a bad habit 3 days later. Dana didn't stop, though. No, she tried filing her own small claims case, repping herself like she was Elle Woods without the brains or the law degree. I got a copy of the filing in the mail. Address listed? Kyle's old apartment. That alone was wild, because she wasn't even supposed to be staying there anymore. And since the filing became public record, her business hit the internet like wildfire. What she didn't know was that Kyle's roommates had been fed up for a while. They installed cameras legally in the shared spaces because stuff kept going missing. Footage showed Dana bragging about the fake pregnancy. She told one of her girlfriends, he was about to walk, so I had to give him a reason to stay. What's a little scare? Then she laughed. Kyle saw the video and finally woke up. He handed it straight to the police and asked for her removal. She fought it, tried to say it was illegal to film her. Didn't matter. Judge said it was a shared residence, common area, clearly disclosed by the lease. Not only was it legal, they even praised the roommates for protecting themselves. She was out that night. Her last move? Posting a story saying she'd been illegally surveilled and violated by toxic men. Nobody cared. By then, her story had flipped so many times, even her followers didn't know what to believe. Half the comments were just people asking what actually happened and why every post contradicted the last. She deleted the video by morning. 3 months later, I was flipping through mail when I spotted a red envelope with snowflakes on it. Marlene and Robert written in neat cursive. Inside was a holiday card with a handwritten note. "We're in therapy now, working on breaking the cycle. Thank you for your patience and your honesty." Tucked behind it, a check for $2,000. No explanation, just a small PS. "We hope you accept this with peace." I slid it into the drawer with the other one. I hadn't touched the $5,000 yet. I didn't need it, but I kept it. Maybe because it was the first time Dana's family took real responsibility for the chaos she left behind. Taylor and I still texted here and there. Nothing deep. She finally kicked Dana out 2 weeks before Halloween. Told me Dana packed 3 trash bags and left like it was her idea. She said the environment was toxic, Taylor wrote. I replied, "Toxic to freeloaders, maybe." She sent back the laughing emoji. Only time I let it slide. Last I heard, Dana was back living at her parents' place, working part-time at a nail salon and still trying to build sympathy online. Said she was emotionally rebuilding after betrayals from weak men. She also posted she was engaged again. Some guy named Travis from Florida. Met him in a gaming chat room. Never met in person, but they were spiritually aligned. Kyle? Word got around he got kicked out of his place for bringing too much drama. Last update said he's living with his mom now, working at a vape shop. I didn't care either way. As for me, yeah, I started seeing someone. Amy. No games, no drama. Own apartment, full-time job. Doesn't let me pay for her groceries without a fight. First time I tried to cover dinner, she slid her card to the waitress before I could reach mine. Said, "I don't need a man. I want one." That stuck with me. My house? Quiet. Clean. No more half-done vision boards or chaotic makeup explosions on the bathroom counter. No more late-night calls with Kyle on speaker or drama disguised as personal growth. Felt like mine again. Not shared. Not tolerated. Mine. And Dana? She's just a name people mention in cautionary tales now. Still out there somewhere, looking for the next guy to carry her load while she calls it love. Not my problem anymore.